Let's dive into Trump's tariffs, a policy that would come to define much of his approach to international trade and economic nationalism. It was a move that left many Americans scratching their heads, unsure of what it would mean for their wallets and their jobs, while only a select few cheered the boldness of the decision. The plan, at least on paper, was straightforward: impose heavy taxes on imported goods, especially steel and aluminum, with the hope of breathing new life into American factories and reviving industries that had been struggling for decades. But the rollout was anything but smooth. The sudden announcement caught even some of Trump's closest advisors off guard, and the policy seemed more like a reaction to mounting political pressure than a carefully crafted economic strategy. The tariffs didn't just target steel, they hit a wide range of products from solar panels to washing machines, all under the banner of protecting American jobs and industries from what Trump called unfair foreign competition. However, the global economy is a tangled web, and these tariffs sent shockwaves through international supply chains, disrupting more than they helped. Many American businesses that depended on imported materials suddenly found themselves facing skyrocketing costs, forcing them to make tough choices, raise prices, cut jobs, or even shut down. For everyday Americans, the impact was felt at the checkout line. The tariffs acted as a hidden tax, driving up prices on everything from cars to canned goods, squeezing both consumers and small business owners. The administration insisted this was all part of a grand negotiating tactic, a way to force other countries to the table and secure better trade deals for the United States. Yet, as months turned into years, the promised long-term gains remained out of reach, and many of the industries the tariffs were meant to protect continued to struggle. Critics argued that the strategy was built on a fundamental misunderstanding of how global trade works, ignoring the interconnectedness of modern economies. What was supposed to be a short-term jolt for American industry became a chronic headache, with layoffs, closures, and uncertainty spreading across the country. As the months dragged on, more and more people began to question whether the entire strategy was fundamentally flawed, sparking heated debates in town halls and on cable news. In the end, the tariffs left a lasting mark on the American economy, challenging the very idea of America first, and forcing the nation to reconsider what true economic strength really means. A three-swipe logo is recognized in nearly every corner of the globe. For over a century, Coca-Cola has been more than just a beverage. It's been a symbol of American ingenuity, optimism, and global reach. But even giants aren't immune to the harsh reality of tariffs. As new trade barriers went up, the cost of doing business in America began to climb. Coke's vast global supply chain, which once gave it a competitive edge, was suddenly hit hard by these new economic headwinds. Every link in the chain, from sourcing ingredients to shipping finished products, became more expensive and unpredictable. The most immediate pain point was the skyrocketing cost of aluminum, a crucial material for their iconic cans. With tariffs in place, prices soared, squeezing margins tighter than ever before. At first, Coca-Cola's leadership tried to absorb these rising costs, hoping the situation would improve. But as months passed, it became clear this strategy wasn't sustainable. The numbers simply didn't add up. Faced with mounting expenses, Coke was forced into a difficult decision: either raise prices for loyal customers or watch profits evaporate. Neither option was appealing, but something had to give. The relentless financial pressure made their U.S. operations increasingly unsustainable. Plants that once buzzed with activity began to fall silent. In a stunning move in July 2025, Coca-Cola announced it would relocate its headquarters and cease all U.S. manufacturing, ending an era that had lasted generations. This wasn't just a few jobs lost, it was a massive corporate exodus, affecting thousands of workers, suppliers, and communities across the country. The move shocked the world, dominating headlines and highlighting the far-reaching impact of tariff policies on even the most established American brands. Coca-Cola's departure was seen by many as a self-inflicted wound on American capitalism, a symbol of how policy decisions can backfire in unexpected ways. The announcement sent shockwaves through the corporate world, rattling investors and sparking urgent conversations in boardrooms nationwide. For other companies facing similar pressures, it was a wake-up call, a stark warning that no one was immune from the ripple effects of economic policy. The tariffs, intended to protect American industry, had instead driven an American icon away, leaving behind empty factories and broken traditions. The move became a powerful statement on the state of U.S. economic policy, sparking protests and heated debates about the future of American jobs. Coca-Cola's exit marked a turning point, raising urgent questions about the direction of American business and the long-term effects of protectionist policies. The impact rippled far beyond the company itself, touching small businesses, families, and the broader economy, reminding everyone that the fate of a single company can shape the destiny of a nation. Coca-Cola's exit created chaos in the stock market and beyond. The Dow Jones plunged, with Coke stock leading the decline. The move signaled instability to other multinational corporations. Job losses were immediate and widespread, affecting thousands. The ripple effect hit industries from trucking to aluminum production. Economists estimated a $50 billion economic impact in the first year. Coca-Cola's departure was a symbolic blow to American capitalism. The move challenged the America First policy, showing its flaws. The reaction to Coke's departure from the American market was deeply polarized, sending shockwaves through every corner of society. Outrage and disbelief spread rapidly among both everyday consumers and powerful corporations alike, as the reality of empty shelves and lost profits began to sink in. Social media platforms buzzed with a mix of nostalgia, anger, and confusion. Hashtags like #BringBackCoke trended for days, with many blaming the White House for the sudden loss of a beloved American icon. For corporations, Coke's move was more than just a business decision. It was a stark warning about the dangers of unpredictable tariff policies and the risks of political interference in the marketplace. Boardrooms across the country erupted in panic, as executives wondered if their own companies might be the next to face such drastic consequences. Meanwhile, pro-tariff supporters seized the moment, framing Coca-Cola as disloyal to American interests and accusing the company of using tariffs as a convenient excuse to abandon the country. The political fallout was immediate and intense. Opposition politicians wasted no time, seizing the moment to criticize the administration's economic policies and sparking heated debates on cable news. The administration scrambled to control the narrative, launching attacks on Coke's CEO and attempting to shift blame, but their efforts only fueled the controversy. The issue quickly became central to the upcoming election cycle, with candidates from all sides using the Coke crisis to rally supporters and score political points. Across the nation, families and communities found themselves divided, arguing over who was truly at fault and what the loss of Coke meant for the country's future. The departure of Coca-Cola became a powerful symbol, highlighting the deep and growing divisions within America, both economic and cultural. The move was seen by many as a clear sign of economic policy failure, with thousands of jobs lost and communities left reeling. The administration's response, rather than healing the rift, only deepened the divide as protests and political infighting intensified. The so-called Coke-zit became a defining moment in U.S. economic history, marking the end of an era and the start of a new, uncertain chapter. In the aftermath, the nation was left grappling with the far-reaching consequences of its own policies, wondering what might be lost next. Coca-Cola's exit raised fears of a corporate exodus. Companies began considering exit strategies amid rising costs. The move provided a roadmap for others feeling trapped. Rumors turned into news as more companies paused U.S. investments. The tariffs created a penalty for manufacturing in the U.S. The policy ironically incentivized companies to move operations abroad. The administration's call to switch to American suppliers was unrealistic. The uncertainty deterred investment, making the U.S. a risky choice. International capital began flowing to more stable economies. The domino effect threatened to reshape the U.S. economic landscape. The blame game intensified as the economic fallout grew. The White House attacked Coke's CEO, deflecting responsibility. The opposition highlighted the tariffs' role in the crisis. Business leaders navigated the chaos, avoiding direct criticism. Public opinion was divided with no clear consensus. The departure deepened political and economic divisions. The administration's narrative clashed with the opposition's. The Coke-zit became a symbol of policy failure. The nation faced a fractured future, searching for solutions. In a post-Coke America, the search for solutions began. Rolling back tariffs was the first step to economic recovery. Strategic, multilateral negotiations offered a more effective approach. Rebuilding alliances could restore stability and attract investment. Corporations needed to adapt to a world of political shocks. Diversifying supply chains and prioritizing stability became crucial. Policymakers and corporations had to find a balance. America First couldn't mean America alone in a globalized world. The path forward required cooperation and responsible policy. Without change, Coca-Cola's exit could mark the start of decline. The nation faced a choice: adapt or face a bleak economic future. The solution lay in collaboration and a renewed commitment to growth.